Welcome to A Minute with Alan. This episode is called Ted Turner. I once worked for a company owned by W. Clement Stone, who is worth $450 million. Some of you know this. I worked there for about a year and a half as the president, recruited to come up to Rhode Island to run the company, and then he promptly fired me because we couldn't stand each other. Stone owned 40 companies. And he, one year, had an awards dinner, a recognition dinner for the media mogul Ted Turner. And this was in some Atlanta convention center. And since Stone owned 40 companies, he had all 40 company presidents come, me included. And since I was one of the newer ones and a smaller company, I was all the way on the end. The only guy outside of me was the guy who headed the TV Bass Fishing Network. I kid you not. So the order of the marching orders here were that the 40 of us would show up as the crowd came into the convention center, but we'd have a private reception to meet Ted Turner. There were some senators there and so forth. And the wives were allowed in. I'm just telling you what happened. The wives were allowed in 30 minutes later, after the men could meet Ted Turner. Now, Ted Turner, an impressive guy at the time, probably still is, but I mean, he was about 6'2" or 6'3", gray hair, distinguished looking, powerful guy. You sensed his presence. My wife couldn't stand him because he had cheated on his wife. He was married several times. He did things that she was very unhappy about. And she didn't understand why he was being recognized at all. She was very unhappy. So when the wives are allowed in, I said to my wife, "Look, you're here. Would you like to meet Ted Turner? I met him. I can introduce you." She said, "Yeah, introduce me." She said, "I should tell him what I feel." I said, "Look, don't start trouble." So we go over there and I tap Ted Turner on the shoulder. He turns around. He says, "Yes." I said, "Ted, I'd like you to meet my wife, Maria." And he says to her, "Hiya, gorgeous. Are you good looking?" And she's stunned. And he turns back to his conversation and she says to me, "Oh my God, he's charming."